Blog Talk Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
Lyrically, I'm untouchable, uncrushable. Running in a 600, running in a 600. Untouchable, uncrushable. Running in a 600, running in a 600.
What's going on, everybody? This is Brandon Stubbs. This is another episode here of Punch the Face Radio. Glad that you join me here this evening, this Thanksgiving Eve here for Punch the Face Radio. We'll be joined here in a few moments by Kathy Duva, CEO of Main Events. They got a big card this weekend up in New York. So we're going to talk to her about the card and about the return of Sergey Kovalev following back-to-back losses to Andre Ward. We'll also touch on David Haye pulling out of a fight again, not surprised there. Gary Russell Jr. being delusional. And also I will give what I'm thankful for this season, since it is Thanksgiving. I will give a listing of things I'm thankful for as we head into Thanksgiving tomorrow. You can be a part of the show and let me know later on in the show what you're thankful for. You can call in at area code 929-477-3165. Feel free to tweet me throughout the show at BrandonP2TF. And as well, I always be remiss if I don't say this. Make sure you follow the co-host who joins me here every couple of weeks, Adam Abramowitz at SN Boxing, also SaturdayNightBoxing.com. So as we wait on Ms. Duva to join us, like I said, man, we're going to talk to her about this weekend's fights. Starting Sergey Kovalev. Big weekend for them, and it's kind of an interesting weekend. We have actually boxing on Thanksgiving weekend. We got a menagerie of sports. I know tonight there's a lot of NBA games. Tomorrow, obviously, we'll have some NFL games. There'll also be a college football game on. There'll be both hockey, basketball, and football on Friday, and then we've got boxing on Saturday. So it's you can't say there's nothing on television to watch if you're a sports fan over the next couple of days. Hopefully most of you people are like me to where you're lucky enough to where you'll have not only tomorrow but Friday off as well and be able to enjoy your weekend. So I'm looking forward to that, man. We got a lot of sports to just sit back and just enjoy, and it's different to have boxing Thanksgiving weekend. Hopefully from a business aspect this goes well, and maybe this is something we can see as a continuous trend. I know 2 years ago we had Cotto versus Canelo the week before Thanksgiving, so I was actually out there for that, and that was actually quite enjoyable. So, we can have more boxing around Thanksgiving. Why not? That does suck for the fighters who do have to cut weight. I know I've interviewed MMA fighters who fought around this time of the year, and that's not fun for them. So I lift them in prayer because I'm a fatty, and I'm going to enjoy all the food there is to eat this weekend. And unfortunately, those fighters cannot because they're focusing on making weight for their bouts here this weekend. So we'll dive into that as well. And we'll also get into the Punch the Face Radio poll, which we put up here this week. Was pretty simple. What are you thankful for in the sport of boxing here so far in 2017? We had some very interesting choices there on the poll, but nevertheless, we put those up and see how those voted. So we'll have the poll here a little bit later in the show on how you, the people of Punch the Face Radio, thought what you're most thankful for here so far in 2018. I did welcome write-in votes. We did have a couple of suggestions there, so we'll read those on air as well. Give a shout-out to those fans following the show. This is Thanksgiving weekend. We're just going to ease into everything. Just kind of mellow out, man. This is going to be a fun show. I don't feel me going on a rant too much here on the show like I've done the last couple of weeks. Although the fans have liked the rants, I do appreciate the feedback we get from those. Also want to say, kind of give you a heads up for what's coming on the pipeline the next couple of weeks. Next week we'll have a former fighter, now promoter, Steve Forbes. He's going to be doing his 2-pound promotions that's going on up there in the the Northwest, up in the Washington area. So he's going to be on the show here next week to talk about his transformation from fighter he's done some training work as well, now doing promotions, doing his own fight promotions. So Steve Forbes will be on next week. Following week here on December 6th, Adam Abramowitz will be joining me again, and we have tentatively, if I'm not putting this out here too early, tentatively we were going to have Shakur Stevens on the show also on December the 6th. So make sure that you're locked in and listening to the show here come December the 6th. So Adam will be back then. Hopefully Shakur Stevens, so we're going to get the time locked down before he can come on live and talk about his bout that he's going to have here on Top Rank's undercard of Guillermo Rigondeaux and Vasyl Lomachenko. So that goes down here in a couple of weeks. So he's going to join us. I think it's actually Fight Week he's going to join us. So I'll be interested to see what kind of energy he has on Fight Week. It's very 50-50 when we talk to fighters during Fight Week, what kind of energy they have, what kind of mood they're in. So I try to stay away from talking to fighters during Fight Week just for that reason, because we know sometimes fighters can get a bit shitty. I mean, just call it what it is. They can be a little bit angry about weight cut and all that fancy stuff. So a lot of them aren't in the greatest of all moods, which, I understand. I can't hold them under fire for that, but we do appreciate them taking our time and always still talking to us, even if it is Fight Week. So that is planned here for the next couple of weeks. After that, we really don't know what's going to be going on with the show. I do know me and Adam will be doing a year-end recap and a 2018 preview, if you will. That will be the first show of January of 2018. So we'll recap and give out our Punch to the Face awards, if you will. They will be very unique and very different. Me and Adam are crafting and working on those now. And we'll give you some things that we must see and that we should see in 2018 in regards to the sport of boxing. So in the next couple of weeks, next month or so, it's going to be fun. So I appreciate everyone sticking in, tuning in, and being supporters of the show, whether you're listening here on Stitch Radio, whether you're listening on iTunes, whether you're listening here on YouTube, or you're listening live here through Blog Talk Radio. We appreciate all the support we get here at Punch the Face Radio. So, again, we're just waiting on our guest tonight, Kathy Duva, to join us to talk Sergey Kovalev, Sharbranskyy, that goes down here this Saturday night live on HBO. My people in New York are listening. If you're listening right now, there are tickets still available. You can go to Ticketmaster.com for tickets. You can also go visit the Madison Square box office. There are some seats available. I do know it's a nice portion of the $50 seats that are available there to watch the fight. And let's face it, especially if you're in the New York area, you're going to be close to that area to where you can leave and go travel and see this fight here this Saturday. Who wants to sit around and look at their family all weekend? This gives you an out. So let you have some enjoyment after sitting around and looking at your family here Thursday and possibly even Friday. Go out and watch a good fight here Saturday night there at the theater at Madison Square Garden. So, again, Ticketmaster.com and as well as the Madison Square box office. You can get some more ticket information and get your tickets there. Man, I sound like a recording there. All right. Pretty awesome. So, as we wait on Kathy to join us, I just kind of want to break down a little bit about the card that we have here on Saturday night. It's a really good card, actually, through and through. Obviously, you have Sergey Kovalev, Sharbranskyy there in your main event. You'll have a fight that I think is honestly going to steal the show, truth be told, because I think for as long as it lasts, it's going to be entertaining. I don't think it's going to last terribly long. I don't think it's going to go a full 12 rounds. Jason Sosa versus Yuriorkis Gamboa. Anyone who's listened to the show knows my thoughts and impressions about Yuriorkis Gamboa. I still have some semblance of faith that he has something left in the tank, but I just don't know what at this juncture. Jason Sosa has a hell of a lot left in the tank. This kid can really go out. He's a scrappy guy. He went in there and he fought Lomachenko when no one else wanted to. So got to tip your hat and give a lot of credit to Jason Sosa for being that guy. So he is fighting Gamboa, and that could either be, a great name on his resume, or it could be an opportunity for Gamboa to get right back in a title hunt. Very interesting fight either way it goes. Sullivan Barrera versus Felix Valera, that is his name, Valera, is also there in the light heavyweight division. The winner of this fight is in line to face Dmitry Bulev. All signs point to Sullivan Barrera winning this fight. I even got to give credit to, I was watching the final press conference here today for this card, and Felix's manager even said that he feels Sullivan Barrera is the best fighter at 175 right now. He says he's the best, just kind of says he has the best skill set all the way around, which, you don't really hear that about someone who's not a title holder, but that just kind of shows the level of respect Sullivan Barrera has within the division and with other fighters in the fight community. I don't know if I can completely agree with him being the best at 175, but he's definitely top 10. You can make the argument of him possibly being top 5. So, Felix has a tough hill to climb with that. And like I said, the winner gets a title shot, or at least is in line for a title shot at some juncture here in 2018 against Dmitry Buev. Another interesting name here on the card that we also want to talk to Kathy about is Frank Galarza. Frank Galarza was at one time a very touted prospect in the 154-pound division. He had a couple of tough losses, and pretty much people just kind of laid him to rest. They wanted nothing to do with him, which is sad when this happens in the sport of boxing. Unfortunately, it does happen in the sport of boxing, and it's a shame when it does. He's still a young guy. Frank's, early 30s still. He's got less than 25 career bouts. He's only like around 23 or 22 career bouts so far. And he's got a lot of tread left on his tires. I don't think he's done. A lot of people saw the knockout loss that he suffered to Jarrett Hurd back in 2015 and kind of thought, okay, well, maybe he just had an off night. He lost the majority of the decision to Ishii Smith last year. And, and then so goes it. He was dropped from PBC and Al Heyman, and, he was kind of a guy with no promoter. And Main Events picked him up, and I think it's a good look. Like I said, I think he's got a hell of a lot left in him. The knockout loss to Jarrett Hurd really does not look bad now, given the fact of what Jarrett Hurd has done since that bout. If you look at it, since Jarrett Hurd beat Frank Galarza, all he's done is going to knock out 3 other fighters, and win the IBF title at 154. So it's not like Jarrett Hurd was a bum. We just didn't know how good Jarrett Hurd was at that time. So we can't discount Galarza for losing that fight. We also can't discount Galarza as well for having the tough fight with Ishii Smith, where he lost the majority of decision here last year. We just saw this past weekend, Ishii Smith, he gave Julian J. Rock Williams hell. Let's just call it what it is. Julian couldn't stop him, couldn't knock him out. He did have a couple of cuts that were caused by headbutts. But Ishii Smith fought a very game fight, showed he still has a hell of a lot left in his tank. So that kind of makes you wonder a little bit, like I said, people want to write off Galarza and think he's washed and think he's done. The 2 people he's lost to back-to-back fights, they've not went on and been doing horrible things. Jarrett Hurd's a champion now. Ishii Smith, like I said, lost the unanimous decision to Julian Williams, but the scores should have been a lot closer than what they were, and all of us who watched the fight saw it was a lot more competitive than what the scores indicated. So glad to see that he's going to get an opportunity to kind of breathe life back in his career and get an opportunity with the Main Event. So shout out to Frank Galarza for that. And really, that's there's a couple other names that on the card as well that you'll see, but those are going to be the main. I think HBO is going to air 3 of those fights. So it's going to be Kovalev, Sharbranskyy, Sosa, Gamboa, and then Barrera, Barrera. Jesus, how can I not enunciate that? Are going to be the fights we'll get to see here on television. So, and again, the Kovalev fight with Sharbranskyy is going to be for the vacant WBO light heavyweight championship, and also for a vacant IBA light heavyweight championship as well. So 2 belts on the line for that. And, we might as well go ahead into the Punch the Face radio poll as we wait on Kathy to join us. The poll this week was it was easy. The poll this week was, what were you thankful for in boxing in 2018, or at least so far this year? So these were the options you had for our voters. You had Andre Ward retiring, Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, Terrence Crawford, just in general, and then more boxing on free television. So the voting went as following. We had 10% of the votes went to Mayweather-McGregor. So 10% of the voters were happy Mayweather-McGregor happened. That made their year thankful. They're thankful for that. 24%, and honestly I thought this number was going to be higher. And people have to understand the joke in this. 24% of the votes went to Andre Ward retiring. So 24% of the voters said they're happy Andre Ward is retired. I know a lot of people in the light heavyweight division right now are happy Andre Ward has retired. He's helping making a lot of people champions again because of his retirement. We have Terrence Boyd Crawford getting 29% of the votes. So he was second in voting. People are thankful for him. Let's just keep it real. Terrence Crawford is the face right now of Top Rank. There's rumors that he may not now fight now until probably sometime middle of the year because he's going to be facing Jeff Horn versus whoever Jeff Horn is fighting next. He's going to face the winner of that bout for the WBO welterweight title. So he's going to have to wait for the winner of that. It's kind of a shame that he's going to have to wait around. I don't know if they'll give him a keep busy fight. I kind of doubt it, but that's what it seems like right now. So he's going to be on the shelf. It's till some point, more likely spring of 2018. Excuse me. So 29% of the voters are happy thankful for him. Like I said, he accomplished unifying all the belts at 140 here this year. So we're thankful for that. But then 37% of the voters here in this week's poll said they are happy there's more free boxing on TV. Now, I had somebody correct me in regards to this, saying ESPN isn't free. Well, all right, I get it. ESPN isn't free, but in most cases, everyone has ESPN on their cable. If you don't have it, you're watching through the app, you have some way of watching ESPN relatively cheap. I will say having ESPN is cheaper than ordering HBO by itself or Showtime by itself, a part of your satellite or cable packaging. It just really depends. But it's free. I look at it as being free. So you have obviously Golden Boy and Top Rank have fights on there. We just had, Tuesdays we typically have a fight card from PBC on Fox Sports 1. Also this weekend we had a card on Bounce TV, which is also a channel that some people get, some people don't. Don't even let me start rambling on about Bounce TV, but it's still typically a free network from what I'm understanding. I don't think it's part of sort of premium packaging on anybody's satellite cable provider. So there's a lot of networks that show that. Not to mention, we've had fights on CBS as well, presented by Showtime. So we're getting more opportunities to see more free fights on television. Now, the few write-in votes we did have was Canelo Triple G. Fight fans were thankful that finally happened. Now, I thought about putting that on the poll, but since we didn't get a definitive winner, we know Canelo lost that fight. We know. But it wasn't the way we thought the fight was going to go. We thought it was going to end violently. We thought people would be hitting the ground. We thought we were going to see just brutality. We saw these guys eat each other's best shots and still stand there. That's scary. It's not a good thing. So, I'm looking forward to the rematch to an extent. I just hope in the rematch we get more of a clear-cut winner. We get a knockout of some sorts. We get a finish. We don't have to have it go into the cards. So that was one thing. That was really the one that everyone wrote in about was that Canelo Triple G. We had 3 write-in votes for that. So, and then, like I said, the Andre Ward one, the reason why I put that there is the simple fact of a lot of people never liked Andre Ward for his attitude, his demeanor. I get it. And some are just glad to see him going for that portion of it. But a lot of other people are glad that he's going because now it really opens up the light heavyweight division. The light heavyweight division is the most open division, I believe, in boxing going into 2018. There is no clear-cut number one. You can make the argument legitimately that Sergey Kovalev may earn that spot by default for going 12 rounds and arguably beating Andre Ward in their first fight. Yes, he got knocked out in the second fight, but, you look at the other guys there within the division, no one has anybody on their resume that can trump Andre Ward or has several fights that are equal to that caliber than what Sergey Kovalev has. Adonis Stevenson hasn't really fought anyone of true, what's the word I want to use here, of true value, if you will, in recent bouts, it's kind of real hit or miss with some of the guys he fights. So, it is what it is from that aspect. But maybe the main one that may have some legitimacy of saying, hey, I'm the best at 175 now is Badou Jack, but Badou Jack doesn't have a title. Dmitry Butaev has a title, but has not really fought formidable competition as of yet. He's going that direction. So, and like I said, wide open division here at 175 going into to 2018. My man Adam Abramowitz has a good write-up about that now on Saturday Night Boxing in regards to where the division is and where it's going to go in 2018. So make sure you read that. So as we wait on our guest to call in, we will see. Do I want to go? What do we want to delve into here? So, let's talk some David Haye, Tony Buev, or Blue, however you enunciate Tony's name. David Haye pulled out of the fight here on Monday. He has a torn bicep. Not really surprising that, given the fact of he's often injured. His Achilles had not completely healed from their last outing, and he's willing to take this fight here this soon. Now, there's been rumors that the reason why David Haye was pushing for this fight so hard is that he needs money. He's been purging money off, that he's kind of broke. He's grown accustomed to living a certain lifestyle, and with him not being as active of a fighter, not having that continuous revenue coming in, well, hell, that money goes fast. So, the promoter of the fight, Eddie Hearn, has said that they're looking to reschedule the fight. At some juncture here in 2018. He's still saying that he plans on, Dave Haye still says he plans on having a big year come next year. He's going to be ready. He's going to be resting up and training. But, I don't get it. Like I said, it's maybe a blessing in disguise for him because he was coming off of, having that Achilles injury and losing the fight, ended up getting stopped in the 11th round. He just couldn't really move around. At 37, you got to wonder what's left in him because he is mighty fragile. Just call it what it is. He is a mighty fragile fighter that I just don't know if he can hold up for a training camp to get to a fight. We've had him have toe injuries, he said, in fights. We know he's had other fight injuries. He's pulled out of fights. So, this isn't anything new. This is, unfortunately, a continuous trend for him to where he's injured and he can't fight. So it begs the question, is he too fragile at age 37 to continue to be an active fighter and be an active fighter at a high level? That's the question you have to ask yourself right now. And for David Haye, like I said, we know the reason why he still wants to fight. He's needing the money. And it's a sad state that we have so many boxers who continue to box because they need the money. Now, he did say in an interview here with Sky Sports here, I think it was actually here today, he said, he posted a video. I'm sure you're already aware that my much-anticipated rematch with Tony Bellew has been postponed. I have obviously got an injury in my left bicep and had a procedure to repair it a couple of days ago. Doctors, my physical are very, very happy with how it went. I will be backfiring on all cylinders in a couple of months, is what he said here in the video. He also said, sorry to everyone, the sport throws curveballs at us from time to time, but I will be back. Thanks for the amazing support. People have been sending my way. It really means a lot that you guys got my back. It has been a very challenging year for me, but 2018 is when everything is going to happen. I also wishes everyone to a happy holiday. So I don't know if 2018 is when it's going to happen. I don't know if it'll ever happen for David Haye because 37, you're not an active fighter that much. You don't really fight that many times in a year. You did fight twice here in 2016, but that was after a 4-year layoff. And that was against opponents most people had to Google to see who in the world they even were. And, he fought a guy in Tony Bellew who actually moved up from cruiserweight to fighting at heavyweight. kind of a blown-up heavyweight at that. And he was getting beat up. But like I said, it was because Hayes just not who he is. Hayes not the guy who fought years ago and was, a terror at a cruiserweight and then moved up and won some fights and did some decent things at heavyweight. But he's not the guy that he once was because, like I said, he was a great cruiserweight champion, but that's not who he is right now. And for him to continue to go out and try to fight at this rate, I don't get it. Now, one thing that I do get is that we do miss Tyson Fury, and we need him immediately back in boxing as soon as possible. So once Tyson Fury heard about all of this going on, he had to add in his 2 cents in regards to willing to fight and step in and actually take the bout and face Tony Bellew. But there's a catch. He's not willing to fight him right now. He's willing to fight him here May of next year. Now, we do know there's a lot of legal ramifications and things going right now with Tyson Fury, him trying to get a license. So here's what he said via his Instagram about fighting next year.
This is Tyson Fury, a.k.a. the Gypsy King, undisputed, undefeated, Ring Magazine, heavyweight champion of the world. I just heard David H. pulled out against Tony, the Bellend Bellew. I'll be ready, willing, and waiting to fight Tony Bellew, May 5th, O2 Arena, London. Like I said before, Tony, you want to fight a real man, you want to fight the best heavyweight in the world, the heavyweight that beat everybody else, the heavyweight that never lost a fight, the real heavyweight champion of the world, and we're ready and waiting. They call you the Bomber, I call you the Bellend. Be no contest, one uppercut, ceiling job. If you think you can do any different, prove it wrong. And you can bring your mate as well, Big Dosser David Price.
So he even took the opportunity to throw a shot at David Price. At one time David Price was looked upon as being a legitimate heavyweight contender. Showed a lot of promise, but really has shown he's quite shitty and gets knocked out quite a bit. So, give Tyson Fury his credit. He is making sure he's keeping his name buzzing every week, putting these videos out, putting his training videos out. He's lost some weight. I mean, you can definitely tell that he is losing the weight. He's moving around. The weird thing is this: the way he moves around, and I'm watching this, watching the training videos. He's moving around like a guy who's in far better shape than what he looks like, and that's a good thing. He's moving around good. He's training it by the looks of it daily. So, he sounds like he's focused on getting back in the ring. Now, who's willing to fight him is one thing. Will he get licensed is another thing. Let's hope all of that falls into place for him come next year. At the rate that he's going and him being in shape, let's hope that, he can get something cleared up license-wise by the end of this year or maybe even the top of next year to where he can maybe have a fight in February or March, soft-touch fight of some sorts, and then, continue to fight and get himself in fighting shape for that and get himself in even better shape to where he can challenge for a title or be in a big fight come May of next year. That'd be huge. It'd be great for heavyweight boxing because we kind of need somebody with some personality. Tyson Fury is that guy. I'm sorry, Deontay Wilder isn't. Anthony Joshua isn't. Joseph Parker's not even on anybody's radar. Speaking of which, Joseph Parker's promoter sends out emails talking about they're going to give out videos to media showing Anthony Joshua's getting knocked down by unknown fighters in sparring and all this other stuff. It's a real dick move by Joseph Parker's camp. They're trying to build some buzz in regards to him and them trying to get a fight with Anthony Joshua next. I don't know what Parker's doing. I don't know, where Parker's going to go going forward. I don't get it personally. I really don't. But hey, it is what it is. It just is what it is. But looks like our caller is calling in here now. So we're going to bring them here live on the air. You're live here on Punch the Face Radio.
Hi,
hey,
Brandon,
it is
it's
the
Kathy
one and only.
Duva. I'm sorry I'm late.
Hey, better late than never, Kathy. We appreciate you calling in.
It's good to hear. It's good to talk to you. I'm sorry, as I said, I got my signals crossed a little bit. So,
I mean, no worries.
I can hope I can hear you. Okay, so what's up?
No worries. I mean, you got a lot on your plate. I mean, literally. I mean, it's Thanksgiving Eve, so I mean, you're a busy woman today. I mean, it's fight week. Big comeback here for Sergey Kovalev. What have you seen in the change in Sergey? From these last two Andre Ward fights to him preparing here for Sharbranskyy here this Saturday.
I was telling people today at the press conference. Look, it's human. You see what you want to see. So before the last couple of fights, certainly the last fight, we saw what we wanted to see. We wanted to see Sergey, changing, evolving, getting better. Unfortunately, he had a really bad situation in this camp, and it had its effect, and it was certainly unfortunate the way all things worked out. This time, he told a story, and there's a great Sports Illustrated story that Greg Bishop wrote. If you have a chance to take a look, where he talks about his metamorphosis that he had over the summer. He came back to Russia. He defended his dissertation and got his graduate degree. He went out with his friends and tried to drown his sorrows and did things he shouldn't have been doing as an athlete, and just tried to get past the depression and had a literally life and death experience where he got in a car accident where he nearly got killed, and realized at that point that it was time to change his life. He went to Greece. He went to a monastery. He went to talk to the elder there. He said he asked him questions and he got his answers. He won't tell us what the question was. And after that, he went to a spa in Russia where they gave him a lot of instruction about, how to eat, how to drink, how to live, what to do. I go back to the day he won the titles from Bernard Hopkins. Bernard, I was standing next to them. We were up on the podium right before the press conference after the fight was about to start. Bernard pulled his head close to Sergey's, and I was close enough to hear him. And he said, "You're going to be champion as long as you want to be, because you're not going to lose the title. It's his day. But you decide that you've lost your focus and you're going to lose it. Nobody's ever beating you. You're going to beat yourself." And every time he sees Sergey since then, he tells him, warns him, don't fall prey to this. It's so easy. You will lose focus. The hardest thing to do is keep your focus. And Bernard, I said today, Bernard, if he's always right, and if you don't believe it, just ask him and he'll tell you. So Sergey has come to the place. Yes. So Sergey's gotten to a place where he realized that what he was doing wasn't working, that it's very easy when you're champ and everybody wants to be your friend, to go out and have fun and say, I'll work tomorrow. And not that he didn't work hard, because he always did, but he's reached, I think, a new level of dedication. If you talk to Bernard, how did he last until his 50s as a functioning elite athlete? And the answer is, this guy, he didn't just not drink. He didn't drink. He didn't eat sugar. He didn't eat flour. He lived a life that was so controlled. His idea of a wild, out of body experience was to eat a piece of pizza. So Sergey, had to recognize that at the age of 34, if you want to be functioning as an elite athlete, you're going to have to live like that. And it appears that that's what he's doing now. So we'll see. He looks better. He sounds better. Everything about him seems better. But we're really not going to know anything until we see him in the ring Saturday night and find out if he is better.
And I agree, because, he seems a lot calmer here throughout the press work here for the fight. So it definitely seems like, I don't want to say he's toned down, but he doesn't seem like he's as wound up as he was for the Andre Ward fights, which Ward can kind of bring that out in people. We understand that. But so I'll pose
Hey, all respect to Andre Ward. He got way inside his head. He really did.
He did. Now, with that being stated, why is Sharbranskyy the right opponent for Sergey Kovalev right now?
Well, you know what? Partly no one else would fight him. Everyone realized when this fight was made, we didn't know it was going to be for a title fight. Ward was still holding all the titles. He gave them up on the morning we announced the fight. So I think if people had known the titles were at stake, it might have been a little easier to find an opponent. But as it turned out, Sharbranskyy took the fight, and he's taking on a challenge, and he's a hellacious puncher, and Sergey is going to have to make sure he doesn't get hit by him, because this is a guy who can punch so hard that he could knock anybody out. So, Sergey realizes this is a real fight. He has to be on his toes. He has to be at his very best. If he's able to win this fight, I think he proves he is at the very least, back to being the man in the division. There's a lot of great young fighters in this division. You have the Bievs holding a title, and Bivol holding a title, and other guys like Barrera and Valera who are on the undercard, and Melito Alvarez, and the list goes on and on. Brown and he who shall not be named, who won't fight anybody, but if he ever decides to, it's a great fight. And you have one of the most interesting, exciting divisions in the sport. And Sergey, if you want to lay claim to the idea that you're the man, with all due respect to he who shall not be named, you have to fight Sergey Kovalev and beat him. So instead of being the guy who's chasing after everyone, who has to go to England to fight Cleverly, who has to go down to close to Philly to fight Hopkins, has to go up to Canada to fight Pascal, has to go out west to fight Ward. All those guys are either retired or insignificant now. Stevenson has basically made himself insignificant and a non-entity, and you've got this tremendous division with all this talent, and nobody's going to be able to say he's the man unless they fight and defeat Sergey Kovalev. So instead of being the guy who's chasing everyone, now everyone's going to chase him, and we're going to see how he likes being in that position, because it's very different. When he started out, he was nobody. He didn't have a title. He didn't have the Olympic gold medal. He was completely unknown. He showed up. He won 3 titles. He took the division by storm. But always, we had to chase the other people. We had to go to their hometown in order to make the fights. Now we can throw down roots. We can be at the Garden. We can come back next time. We can make it his home, and he can be the man who sits at the top of the division and says, if you want to be the king, then you've got to come and see me. And I think I think knowing him, he's going to be very comfortable in that position, perhaps more comfortable than in the position of the guy who's chasing. We'll see.
Now, we'll see. We'll see Saturday night live on HBO. And also, as I mentioned earlier on the show, there are some tickets still available, so Ticketmaster.com, and as well as the MSG box office. Fans in New York, go out there, go watch a good fight. Get away from your family, because you're going to look at them enough the next couple of days. Go watch boxing. Enjoy it. Enjoy the holiday.
Look, when you want to punch your sister on the mouth, just watch the fight. Get it out.
Just watch it instead, please. No domestic violence. Now, you mentioned Sullivan Barrera's name, so, luckily for you, you have 2 of the top 10 guys at 175 under the main event's umbrella. I was watching the press conference here, the final presser today, and Barrera's manager said that he feels Barrera's the best guy at 175. What does that say about what you have underneath your stable? You got 2 of the best, and one of them's not even in a title fight right now.
Yes, and to be fair to Barrera, this was offered to him, but at the time it was not a title fight, and I think the feeling was, at that point, Sullivan is number 1 in the WBA. You are guaranteed you're going to get a title fight if you keep that position. Why risk it all in the toughest fight you could possibly take, and you can't even win a title if you win. So he made the decision to stay where he is, to stay active, be on the card, and if he wins, he's still number 1. And then he's in a nice position. He can choose between taking the fight with Bivol as a mandatory, or he, assuming Sergey is successful, and we have to assume that, if he's assuming he's successful Saturday, Barrera may be in a very enviable position of being able to decide between, do I want to fight Sergey Kovalev for the WBO title, or do I want to fight Dmitry Bivol for the WBA title? So it's a nice position to be in, and he's got to beat Felix Valera, which is a really good fight. Jolene, our matchmaker, tells me this is going to be the sleeper fight of the night. It's going to be a knockdown, drag out. So I think they have a terrific card that people should, you're home on Thanksgiving weekend, you're with your family, you've run out of stuff to do, you're stuffed, there's no more dessert left, turn on the fight. That's going to be your dessert.
Absolutely. Now, one thing that the fans did want me to ask you in regards to, since you do have two of the top 10 guys at 175, is, right now we have the World Boxing Series Classic going on. They've got cruiserweights, they've got super middleweights. There's talk about possibly doing something in 175 next year. As a promoter, would you be open to either one of your fighters or anyone else you sign going forward being in a tournament like that, to where pretty much it's all on the line for you that first bout out? It's one and done.
You know what? It's going to depend if someone comes to us and they have not yet. If the deal makes sense, I couldn't tell you if it does because I haven't heard from them. We're, of course, willing to talk to anybody and consider any opportunity. We'll see.
All right. Well, that was a question the fans had, so it sounds like you're open to that, which we will be glad. If that's the way that we can get some of these guys at 175 to fight each other, I want it to happen. I don't know who I have to write in Congress-wise. I want that to happen. we need to see more fights like that in 2018. Now, also on the card,
I'd like to see HBO make it happen too. We'll see what happens. We got a long way to go before we get there. But there's a lot of terrific. I'll tell you, that division, the top 10, everybody, mix them any way you want. It doesn't make a difference. Every fight's terrific.
It is. From top to bottom. I will say this, and I'm going to lay off Adonis for one moment, because if he is truly going to fight Badu Jack, which I think is going to be a hell of a fight if it does happen, kudos for him for fighting someone legitimate finally at 175 for the first time in years. So I'll give him a slight pass.
He's fighting a former 165-pound fighter, but okay, a 68-pound fighter.
I'll give him a little bit of a pass on that, because Badu Jack has fought some great fights here recently, so I'm gonna give him a slight pass on that. Now,
I will give Badu Jack all the credit in the world.
Now, somebody you do have that's going to be making his promotional debut for you guys here this weekend is Frank Galarza. And I want to bring up Frank Galarza to you because a lot of people kind of wrote him off for dead after losing back-to-back fights. What did you guys see in him to where you said, you know what, we want to give this guy an opportunity. We want to make him part of the main event's family?
Well, he came to our office and we got to know him. And after about 15 minutes, it was like, oh, my God, why aren't you fighting? He's got so much personality. Styles make fights, matches make fights. It's about making the right matches for your fighter. And I think our history with Arturo Gatti is the greatest proof of that. You don't have to be the greatest fighter in the world to put on great fights. We think that he's a person who's very well positioned to be in a lot of really interesting fights. He's on our card on Saturday, and, Frank Galarza is a personality. He's exciting. He's fun. And people are going to buy tickets to come and see him fight. So that's the kind of guy we want to work with. He's also a guy who doesn't say, well, who am I fighting? What am I going to get? He's just like, you got to fight for me? Great, I'm going to take it. And that's kind of who we want to work with.
Now, another fighter that you're working with, who I actually had on the show here a couple of weeks ago, that I'm just really enamored with, is Vaughn Alexander. Vaughn made it extremely clear in the interview he's ready for the big dogs in the middleweight division. And I told him, I was like, hey, I'll talk to Kathy and see what we can do. He's one of the bigger names in 2018. What can we do for Vaughn?
You know what? I met with Peter Nelson today, and he was on the top of my list, and we had a really nice conversation about him. So, I think you're going to see him at HBO next year, and it's going to be great.
That is what I love to hear, because, in interviewing him, he has such hunger and he has such passion. And, given what his background is and where he came from and what he dealt with and how he's now using that as a positive, I got nothing but respect for that. And as a Kansas City guy to a St. Louis guy, I got nothing but love for the guy. So I'm hoping he makes it big to where we can have fun.
My son went to college in St. Louis. I spent some time there. I love St. Louis. It's a terrific town, and as you said, Vaughn is a guy. You can go through what he went through in his life, and you can crawl in a hole and never make anything, or you could become a better man, and it looks like that's what he did. And we're thrilled to work with a guy like him. He is a wonderful personality. He's a wonderful story. It's a beautiful family, and he's a fighter who's willing to take on anybody. And again, those are the guys. Those are the only people Main Events wants to promote.
Well, and St. Louis is a fight town, so I'm saying, Vaughn makes it big. We get some fights in St. Louis. That's a 4-hour drive for me. That's no problem. We can make that happen to go see that live. Just putting that out
my
there.
My son
for
is
you,
a WashU alum, so I'm going back to St. Louis one of these days. I have to.
Okay. See, we're putting it together. See, we make good chemistry together. We're already matchmaking and we're planning out dates and events. It's good stuff here. Good stuff here. So. No, I would be remiss if I didn't ask this, with it being the eve of Thanksgiving, and obviously you're working hard. What are you the most thankful for as we reach Thanksgiving here tomorrow night, or tomorrow morning, tomorrow night?
I'm thankful for the fact that my staff has work to do, and we're thriving and working and moving forward, because we are blessed. There are times when you feel like this is the hardest job in the world, and then there's times when you think that it is the greatest job in the world. And weeks like this, when we're busy and we're active and we have a great fight and we have a lot of energy and a really fun event coming up, this is really what it's all about. Even on a holiday, as I said today at the press con, I've got to thank my whole staff, because they're all giving up their holiday to work on this, and they do it out of nothing but love. And and they want to get their salaries, but the fact is, there's a lot of jobs people can do where they can work on 9 to 5 and do a regular job. You have to be a certain type of twisted to want to do this, and they all are. And they're more fun, than anybody I know. And we have a great time together. We're having a great week together. We even have one of our interns that came back to work for free this week just because he can't let go. So. Wow.
That's dedication.
It's wonderful to have them all there. Absolutely, yeah. No, he's a great guy, and I was surprised to see him today at the press conference. Like, oh my God, he's back. The kid's a lawyer. He's back. So.
Man, you and I both know boxing is a crazy game, and once you get it in your blood, it's hard to shake it.
It's impossible to shake it. That is true. I actually have more lawyers working on this fight. Myself, my daughter. Lisa Meyer, who's an attorney, the young kid who came back, who's an intern, who was our former intern and went on to have a job in the legal profession. He's working this weekend. Augustino. It's true. There's just there's things you could do to go out there and make money, and then you could do this, and it's there is something about it, and it's an excitement, a craziness. I don't know how quite to describe it, but you don't get it too many other places. So we're all going to be here. We're going to be working on Saturday, and all I can say to everybody is 10 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific. It's going to be a great night. Don't miss it. Saturday.
Well, absolutely, and I do want to give you, commend you for. Because I was watching the press conference today, you actually named out your staff by name and thanked them for taking out the time. And we don't hear that much in boxing. We hear certain people being thanked after God or sometimes before God after a fight, but we rarely hear anybody name, people who are, working the line and helping out. So I got to commend you and give you a lot of credit for that, because that was a real classy move on your part to let your staff know that you appreciate them and you want to point it out like, hey, you guys helped making this possible this week. So great move on your part. This is why I like you, and this is why you're good for the sport of boxing. I'll always maintain that.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you so much. Look, they are awesome, and as I said, I see how hard they work every day. People don't realize there are so many people behind the scenes in the sport who actually do all the work, and people like me who do interviews. Our job's easy. The hard work really is getting things done. I tell people when they say they want to be boxing promoters, like, you have to realize your job is herding cats. This is really hard. Everybody in the sport, every fighter, every manager, every promoter, they're going to do what they want to do. Trying to get all of these people together and orchestrate what they're going to do and get them to all do it at the same time and make the fight happen is so damn hard. And that's what my staff does. And without them, I'd do nothing. That's for sure.
All right. So last question here before we let you go. Are you fearful anyone's going to miss weight with Thanksgiving being tomorrow?
We're always fearful.
It's a good question if you really think about it.
Whether it's Thanksgiving or not. Look, they're not going to Thanksgiving dinner. That's for sure. We know that. None of us are. So most of the staff isn't having Thanksgiving I'm going to stay home with my daughter, and we're going to eat stuffing and drink wine. But we don't have to make weight, actually, because I'm pretty sure the fighters don't have that luxury. And yes, we're all good. We hold our breath, and particularly Jolene, our matchmaker, before every weigh-in, because nobody realizes how hard it is on the matchmakers. They put so much work into putting a fight together, getting contracts signed, getting people to where they need to be on time, making sure they have their medicals, making sure everything's done, and then you hold your breath as they get on the scale and pray to God the fight's going to stay together. So that happens at every weigh-in, and hopefully, this isn't going to be that different, because I think they all recognize that if they have Thanksgiving dinner, they're screwed. So hopefully, if they're smart, they put their food away until Sunday, and they can go and eat all they want then.
Well, absolutely. Well, again, we got Kovalev, Sharbranskyy, Saturday night, HBO. And, again, if you're there in the New York area, Ticketmaster.com, as well as the MSG box office. There are a few tickets still available. Go out, enjoy the fights here this holiday weekend. Kathy Duva, we appreciate you taking our time because, again, I know you were super busy here with Fight Week, but we're glad to have you on to talk about the return of Sergey Kovalev. I'm looking for the crusher here on Saturday. I think that's what fans are going to see for as long as the fight lasts.
From your mouth to God's ear, we're all hoping for the same. Thank you.
We're talking it into existence. But, again, Kathy, we thank you. You enjoy this Thanksgiving as much as you can. Enjoy the holiday season. We look for big things from you in 2018, and we'll have you back on the show at that time.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. Have a good night. Have a good Thanksgiving.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Again, that was Main Event CEO Kathy Duva joining us here on Punch to the Face Radio. Saturday night at HBO, Barrera, Valera. We have Sosa, Gamboa. We got the Crusher versus Sharbranskyy. Good fights, man. We got good fights, man. And like I said, I do look for the Crusher to return. I think that all of that he had with John David Jackson is now out of his head. Andre Ward is no longer on the radar. So I will say this. Andre Ward said a couple slick things on Twitter here this week. We're just going to let that pass. He's retired. Let retired fighters stay where they are. I look for the pressure to come in and just for as long as the fight lasts, he's going to pour it on. I look for him to maybe the first round or two fill out Sharbranskyy, kind of figure out the distance. And then once he figures that out, I'd say by round three, we're going to see a lot more aggressive Sergey in the fight. And I look for him to get a stoppage. I'm saying 6 rounds or better, but it could actually go 8. If it goes anything more than 8, I'd be personally stunned. But I'm looking for at least 6 rounds. Like I said, it's going to take Kovalev a little bit of time just to make the normal adjustments every fighter does. But once he jumps on him, he's going to be on him. I don't see much of what Sharbranskyy offers that's going to be any issues for Sergey Kovalev come Saturday night. And it's like I said, the Jason Sosa Gamboa fight, since we're giving our official picks here now, Gamboa is a name. That's what he is. Gamboa has broken my heart. The first time I got to see him fight live, he put up a complete and utter turd here during Cinco de Mayo weekend this year when he took an L to Robinson Castellanos. Pretty bad. He just pretty much quit on us. Not fun, not cool. But if you think about it, that's the only other loss on his resume is a TKO loss to Terrence Crawford back in 2014 in what was a hell of a fight for as long as it lasted. The thing is with Gamboa, we see it in every Gamboa fight. He gets knocked down. His defense just isn't that good. And it's going to be one of these times he's going to get knocked down. He's not going to get back up. What happened with Terrence Crawford? Sosa doesn't have overwhelming power, but he has enough skills and punching ability to where he's going to be able to keep Gamboa off of him. And if Gamboa comes in there with that sloppy, lazy defense, he's going to make him pay. I look for Jason Sosa to win the fight. I do think he's going to win an unanimous decision, but he's also going to knock Gamboa down a couple times en route to getting that W and then opening up an opportunity for a super featherweight title fight for him in 2018. And as far as the other televised bout, we're going to see Sullivan Barrera versus Felix Valera. For Barrera, it's fairly simple, man. Just box. As long as Barrera goes in there and box, there's going to be very few at 175 who are going to be able to do much of anything with him. That being stated, he's got to be careful not to fall into any traps. Felix is no slouch himself. very capable fighter. His only L is to current champion Dmitry Buev. He lost to him last year in a interim WBA title fight. That was his only loss. It was in a decision loss, so it didn't like he got embarrassed or anything like that. It was a competitive fight. Barrera's been there. His only loss is to Andre Ward. The crazy thing is, two of the main guys who are fighting on this card have 3 losses, but those 3 losses are to Andre Ward. Go figure. He snatched the away from Kovalev and Barrera. So, like I said, a lot of people are thankful he's no longer in boxing today, which kind of leads me now here to our final segment of the show. What are we thankful for? Well, actually, we're not going to get there yet. We're going to get to the delusional Gary Russell Jr. So all of us, not all of us, some of us watched boxing last night on Fox Sports 1. I'm going to say this. I actually missed an hour of it because I had no idea boxing started at 7:30 Eastern Time. Typically it starts at 8 Eastern Time or 7 Eastern Time. Started at 7:30 Eastern Time. I ended up missing a vast majority of the card. I missed the whole undercard that they had showed and really just tuned in right as they were getting ready for the main event. So I missed the interview that they had with Gary Russell Jr. there on air. And he said, one of the things he said that he wants to be more active in 2018. He's planning on fighting again. He said, and he's looking at February to fight again, and then after that, sometime in November. Let me first start there, and then I'm going to play the soundbite that really kind of threw me for a loop. Gary Russell Jr. is all of 29 years old. He has had less than 30 career bouts. He's had years where he's fought multiple times, and he's had times where he's only fought 1 time a year. That's kind of the trend he's been on here now. He's talking about he wants to be more active in 2018. He last fought here May of this year. So May 20th of 2017. He's now looking to fight in February of 2018. So we have all of June, all of July, all of August, all of September, all of October, all of November, all of December of 2017. We have 7 months this year. He has no fight organized, no fight scheduled. He's not looking to fight after missing 7 months here this year not fighting for another 2-ish months in 2018. So we're looking at 9 months. We're literally looking at pregnancy between fights possibly for Gary Russell Jr. Then it left me to this soundbite that he had dropped while being interviewed by Ray Flores and Sergio Mora.
Anybody that's in the featherweight division, Abner Mars, Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton, it doesn't matter. You can hear people in the background yelling it. Don't be afraid. It's time to make it happen. Let's get it.
Well, a couple of problems with that. No one was yelling in the background, so there's number one. And he's not on even these guys' radar. Like, I've never heard of any of these guys saying, hey, Gary Russell Jr., we're calling you out for a fight. Let's do it, baby. No one's calling out Gary Russell Jr. The only person who's really on, that's being on Gary Russell Jr.'s radar, or at least say that who's on their radar for is Jojo Diaz from Golden Boy. He has made it clear after he won his last bout here a couple of months ago that was a fight that he was a mandatory challenger for, and that's the fight that he wanted. He wanted to fight Gary Russell Jr. He even said it by name. Now, I don't know what's going to happen going forward, but he is the guy. He wants that fight. Gary Russell has someone who's willing to fight him, and now he's saying he's not even sure if Golden Boy will let Diaz fight him. I think Golden Boy will let him fight him because they would find some sort of middle ground. Not to mention Diaz wants the fight. If a fighter wants a fight, they will make their promoter make the fight. That's kind of how boxing works. Fighters are fighters, but they can dictate when they want to fight and who they want to fight. If Diaz puts the pressure on Golden Boy saying, hey, make it happen, figure out something, I want this fight, then, well, guess what? The fight will happen. At least Diaz has been active. He fought here in September on the Canelo Triple G undercard. He's going to be he wants to get another bout here sooner than later after going 12 rounds for a unanimous decision win over Rafael Rivera. But what is Gary Russell Jr. talking about? He's calling out guys in the featherweight division who he's not on their radar. Like, they're not paying him any attention. No one's paying him any attention of these guys that he's naming off. Santa Cruz isn't, Carl Frampton isn't, Abner Mares isn't. They're more interested in fighting each other. That's why they have the fights, the Stay Busy fights they've both had over the last couple of months amongst those three guys. They are all looking to fight some sort of a round-robin tournament maybe amongst themselves and maybe even throw Lee Selby into that as well. So, he's the odd man out is Gary Russell. And, he around this time when Lomachenko had his last fight, Gary Russell Jr. popped back up and started making comments talking about how Lomachenko was going to see him again and all this other stuff. And, he's doing his commentating, breaking down the fight between Lomachenko and Guillermo Rigondeaux. I don't know who thought or who asked Gary Russell Jr. opinion in this, because you have to be more of an active fighter than what you are to be able to start commentating and breaking down and talking smack on other fighters. Lomachenko beat him via majority decision back in 2014, which I'm going to be quite honest, was a unanimous decision. Wasn't really that competitive of a fight. And since then, he's fought 4 times. 2014 was when he fought Lomachenko. We're talking 3 years ago, almost 3.5 years ago to be quite honest. And you fought 4 times. In Lomachenko's case, since he's had that bout with Gary Russell Jr., he has fought another, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and about to fight for an 8th time. This is going to be the 3rd time Lomachenko has fought in 2017 when he fights Guillermo Rigondeaux here in a couple of weeks. 3rd time. He's fought Nicholas Walters, Roman Martinez. He's fought Jason Sosa. He's fought legitimate fighters, and Gary Russell Jr. hasn't. Just call it what it is. So I don't know what Gary Russell Jr. gets off at or what he's talking about, but this one is from my man Gary Russell Jr. Not feeling you, bro. Not feeling your attitude, and just not feeling it. So we do have a caller calling in. Let's see what our caller has to say. Regards to Gary Russell Jr., Sergey Kovalev, whatever else is on their mind. Caller, you're live here on Punch the Face Radio.
Brandon, it's Adam Bromwitz for you.
Adam Bromwitz with the call in here this evening. What's going on, Adam?
I heard you ripping on Gary Russell Jr. and I just had to call him. No, I'm kidding. I wanted to I wanted to wish you a happy Thanksgiving, and looking forward to being on the show in a couple weeks. But what you're saying about Gary Russell Jr. is 100% right. It's a shame of it is the guy is so talented, isn't he? And he just does his talking out of the ring, and in so many ways it's modern boxing. And you wish he fought more. Or if he didn't fight, he would just kind of be quiet about it. But anyway, I just wanted to call in and thank you for what you do, and wish you a good holiday.
Oh, that warms my heart. And yes, the Gary Russell Jr. bashing is real. How many times did he have fights against to be announced that we would find out who he's fighting maybe 10 days before the fight? So any criticism he gets and we give to him is much needed and deserved.
To be fair, he's beaten TBA so many times that he now fights TBD because TBA can't get back in the ring anymore. So he moves on now. It's like TBA's brother. It's like Gary Russell has a brother, another Gary Russell. So TBD is TBA's brother. So it's just very complicated. It's like, so now his brother Gary Russell, the other Gary Russell, is going to be fighting TBA. It's like a family affair.
All right, so I before you get out of here, I do got to get your pick because, this is what we do. I don't know if you heard me being able to talk there with the lovely and awesome Kathy Duva. She's such a gem. We like her so much. Kovalev, Sharbranskyy this weekend. How many rounds will Sharbranskyy last?
I think it's probably going to go about 5 or 6 rounds. Sharbranskyy can punch a little bit, and I do think Kovalev is going to, come out a little cautiously with his jab. I think he's going to try and land something hard, in a single shot, at the end of the first round or something to give Sharbranskyy a test. I think eventually he knocks him out. I think as he feels a little more comfortable and gets in the flow of the fight. So let's say 5 or 6 rounds. What was your thought?
I said 6, but, yeah, I think it's going to be him being cautious, maybe the first round or 2, filling out his range, the distance, and once that happens, he's going to be aggressive come round 3 going forward. So look at us. We're all from the same wavelength there. And how embarrassing will it get for Gamboa versus Sosa?
The sad part is the original fight was Sosa against Castellanos, and I think that would have been an amazing fight. I think those two would have matched up really well. I don't think Gamboa can knock Sosa out. So what does that mean? That means Gamboa is going down at some point, and he's probably going to stay down. Let's call it like an 8th or 9th round KO from Sosa. But that's my thought. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm going Sosa with the win, but I'm actually going the full 12 with Gamboa going down several times. If it doesn't go the full 12 rounds, Gamboa will quit like he did against Robinson. Sad.
Yeah, I hear you. But I'll be watching, and I know your boy's fighting the next week, so there's going to be a big build-up. It's really exciting, and I know you're ordering extra boxes of Kleenex, and it's a very emotional time, I bet.
There's going to be a retrospective show on HBO this Saturday. Like HBO's never done that with any other fighter that I can remember. Going into a last fighter when they thought it was going to be a last fight, they do a retrospective show. So we're in kind of weird area right now. I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna tape it.
Are you?
Put it on
I'm
DVD.
surprised you weren't one of. I'm surprised you weren't one of the talking heads that they got to talk about how great Cotto was. I'm kind of upset that they didn't reach out to you there.
I'm a little bit upset. Trust me, my mother's even more upset that she didn't get a chance and an opportunity to do so. So it is what it is. But trust me, there'll be tons of Cotto talk in the coming weeks, and me looking sad. If he were to lose, Adam, I swear to God, I think I would be on suicide watch. I'm never going to lie about it. I don't even want to put that out there, but it could be rough.
Well, take care, and we'll catch up soon.
Absolutely, man. The one and only Adam Abramovich, SaturdayNightBoxing.com, a.k.a. SN Boxing on Twitter. Love you, brother, man, and I'll talk to you a couple weeks when you're back on the show, man.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, take care. All right, the one and only Adam Abramovich. That's awesome. Calling into the show. It's a rare call, and I was like, who's calling into the show? It's Adam. That's what we do. Again, man, if you're not following Adam on Twitter, SN Boxing, SaturdayNightBoxing.com is where he writes some great stuff, very introspective pieces in regards to boxing, where I'm the giant brute of the group. Adam is more meticulous, more he dissects a little bit better. That's what makes our combination so great when he's on the air with me. That's why I have him as my co-host. That's why he was chosen. He's the chosen one, if you will. So make sure you check out SaturdayNightBoxing.com. And if you're on Facebook, check out the group SN Boxing on Facebook. You had an opportunity to ask questions. Anytime we have fighters on the show, we put out who we're going to have on the show. We give you an opportunity, part of the SN Boxing group, to submit a question, be asked here of the fighter or the promoter or whoever we're having on, where you get an opportunity to actually ask that question here on the show. So there's that. So one of my Gary Russell rants here. So now I want to get on my rant about what I'm thankful for here this boxing year and what have you. I'm not going to get too introspective because, well, it's me and y'all kind of know that I'm not the most sensitive type, if you will. But, in boxing, what I'm most thankful for is boxing as a whole. Let's face it. Let's just keep it real. Now, I know I've said this on the show now literally all year, and it's the truth. The boxing gods in 2017 have blessed us. We have had some fantastic fights. And to think we're here as I record this show, November 22nd, we still have a month of good fights left. We have the return of Sergey Kovalev. We have the last fight of Miguel Cotto's career. We have Lomachenko, Rigondeaux, for Christ's sakes. Like, we have some great fights still left. And in 2018, it's already lining up to be an interesting year. We know at some juncture we're going to get Canelo Triple G2. We just don't know when. We know we're going to see the return of Errol Spence Jr. here against Lamont Peterson in January. We know we're going to see at some juncture Keith Thurman make a return. Whatever, Keith. Shout out to Keith Thurman, who's sitting there trying to eat his food in peace during the show last night on Fox Sports 1, and they had the camera on him the whole time. My man was just trying to get his ketchup packet open, and the camera would not get off of him. So let him live, man. Let if he wants to eat non-vegan food, let him live. Let Keith Thurman live, cameraman. Don't focus in on him. So like I said, we know we'll get Keith Thurman that back. We know we're hoping we get Tyson Fury back. The heavyweight division is going to be interesting in 2018. We have Anthony Joshua, we have Deontay Wilder, we have Joseph Parker to a far lesser extent, Dylan White, Jarrell Miller, Tyson Fury. We got a lot of weird combinations here and there, but we just don't know where all the pieces are going to fit in. But we do know we're coming to one peak end. It's going to be Joshua versus Wilder at some juncture, or Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua at some juncture. We're going to get one of those two in 2018. I think it just has to happen. It just has to happen for those heavyweight fighters. As we've said on the show here tonight, as you heard our guest Kathy Duva say, 175 is probably the most wide-open division there is in boxing. We have Artur Beterbiev, who's a champion. We have Dmitry Boyev, who's a champion. We have Adonis Stevenson, who's a champion. Sharbranskyy, Kovalev is for a title. Sullivan Barrera could be challenging for a title next year. And we still have other guys that I haven't even named. There's Lomachenko's homie, whose name escapes me, but who's also a beast here at 175. We have Badou Jack, who's moving up in weight, who some are not as impressed, but I'm impressed with him. I think he can really do some good things. I think 175 is more of a natural weight for him. It's an open division, and it's only going to get better. And let's hope we have some unification bouts in 2018. I don't think you're going to see any of those bouts right off the bat, except for the simple fact of Beterbiev just was crowned a champion. Kovalev or Sharbranskyy will be just a champion. Dmitry Boyev just got elevated to the regular champion. So, I mean, you're going to see a title defense from probably each of those guys first before you see any sort of unification. And then you have Badou Jack and Adonis Stevenson kind of hanging out there on the Al Heyman PBC side of things. So we don't know what the hell happened with those guys. But we can all wish and hope that we get some title fights and some unification fights. Let's face it, if Sergey Kovalev is able to gain, all the belts back that he once had, and the only thing lacking out there is the WBC title, it's going to be a no-brainer. Somebody's going to have to cross the street, come over to HBO and fight Sergey Kovalev. But I think it's going to be a fun year there at 175, and we also have Superfly that happened here in 2017, and we're going to have part 2 of that coming here soon. So, I mean, we have so many things to be grateful for in the sport of boxing, and I'm so appreciative of everything because it gives me content. It gives us something to talk about. It gives us something to banter about on social media back and forth. We have enough bullshit in the world that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, from what we see in politics in our day-to-day lives to our jobs. Sports are our outlet. So I hope boxing never becomes political. I want it to kind of stay the way it is, keep it peaceful, because that's our outlet. Now, there are some things that I'm not happy for, not thankful for that they're even around or they exist in the world of boxing. And I'm probably going to sound really harsh by naming names, but hey, it's my show. I do what I want to do. I'm not thankful for Adrian Broner because for every step I think Adrian Broner takes going forward to where he's doing the right thing, he goes and takes 17 steps back. I don't understand. It sounds like he's going to get a title shot opportunity against Sergey Lipitz at 140, whatever. I just feel the people around him are just being enablers. That's from trainers to promoters, all that are being enablers. They really need to pull him aside because the kid has talent. It's just, can he put it together? And I'm just not thankful for him squandering his talent because you can tell it's being squandered. On that same note, something I'm also not too thankful for, Gervonta Davis is a guy who's also going down that slippery slope. We've heard some things. We've Seeing some things being posted on social media, I just think he needs to kind of fall back a little bit. Just kind of play the background. You lost your title belt on the scale. You were going to be part of the biggest event of the year as far as eyes and watching it, and you pretty much you fought a guy that you were going to beat anyway, but you lost your belt on the scale. I can't take it too serious with that. He's got to show us that he's professional. He's ready to do and be great. He's ready to be that next star that Mayweather Promotions and Floyd Mayweather said himself that Gervonta can be. I don't see that right now. So there's that. We do have another caller calling in who I am also always thankful for. I know this area code. I know who this is. So, man, you're live here on Punch to the Face Radio.
Yo, what's good, bitch? Boy, Mike, what's going on, man? Happy holidays to you and your family, my G. What's going on?
Man, much appreciative and thankful for you, Mike Money, because you bring the energy. You help bring life here to the show. My brother, man, I hope you're eating good this week because I'm actually going to fix a pie after I get done with the show. So I'm going to eat good. But what's on your mind, Mike? What are you thankful for here in boxing so far in 2017?
Man, I'm thankful for a couple of things. First and foremost, a lot of the free boxing that we've been able to see. It doesn't matter if it's free or not, because I'm going to the bar, I'm drinking my Jack straight, watching boxing, chopping it up with the people. I'm definitely appreciative of that. Bud Crawford, unifying in 140. Now he's going to 147 for them killers, and I'm definitely appreciative of what Andre Ward did this year. That was fire for me, being Kovalev in the rematch. That was fire. Like I said, I really didn't care for the Mayweather McGregor fight. I definitely didn't care for the 160. You know how I feel about that. That's been I talked that to death. But I'm gonna tell you another division that's fire. 115. Oh, what happened? What's going on with 115? That excites me because I don't think that division is so deep. Also, doesn't get because although not a lot of Americans, if there's any Americans in 115, but that division is exciting. And of course, what Errol Spence did to Kell Brook, which was I love that fight as well, which hopefully sets up 2018, 2019. Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. Those are the things I'm excited for in boxing. I'm excited for 154, of course, and that division. Always excited for that. And and I'm also excited for you, bro, because you bring the heat, you bring the fire every week. Punch to the Face Radio, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. You bring the heat, and I appreciate you for that.
Man, I'm just trying, man. I'm just trying to be humble. And one thing that I did say I was going to do going forward is it's all about positivity and love. Like, I try to love and be positive with everyone there is. There are some people I still don't like. I'm not even going to front. Like Fat Boy Dan Redfield, let me catch you in the streets. That's all I'm going to say. But otherwise than that, I love everybody who loves the show. And anytime you come on, I see this area code pop up. I was like, I already know what it is. I already know what's about to go down. So I'm appreciative of you showing love and being supportive of me. When I rewrote this project out, I said it was going to be my way and my thing. A lot of people have rode with me. Some have rode away. But, hey, man, at the end of the day, man, this is fun. This is for the people. This is for the boxing fans. And this is what I do.
Yeah, man. And listen, and vice versa, man. You helped me. You, like I said, you helped me when I was at my lowest, and you already know what I'm talking about, so I don't want to rehash that. But you helped me when I was late last year, at my absolute lowest when I had, when my father passed. So you was there for me too, bro. So I definitely got to return the favor, man. Show love and show support, and plus you put out good content. You got Brother Adam on there talking about big fights, which is a fight coming up this Saturday. Man, I hope Kovalev gets cooked. That's just the way I feel about that. Case closed. I hope he gets cooked again so we can just rid ourselves of him. But if not, we're not going to get Adonis Stevenson and him. We're not going to get that. So we'll see what happens. But I'm excited. I'm going to tell you what I'm excited for. I'm excited for, and it's coming up in a couple of weeks, Rigondeaux Lomachenko. That's going to be a goodie. I can't wait.
Absolutely. And cross our fingers that we can get it locked down. But fight week, that's that Wednesday, December 6th, we're supposed to have Shakur Stevenson live on air. He'll be fighting on that undercard, so we want to get the youngster on. We're crossing our fingers. We got to get the time locked down, but Shakur Stevenson should be a guest that week during fight week of Lomachenko-Rigondeaux. So we know Top Rank is real big on him, and I just really want to pick his brain on what kind of information that he's getting from Andre Ward, what kind of insight he's getting from him, what Jay Prince is helping him out from a business aspect-wise, because Jay Prince scares the hell out of me. So I want to know about how that works out. But, yeah, man, we're happy for that. I'm hyped for this weekend's fight for the simple fact that we got boxing on Thanksgiving weekend. Like, I don't ever remember this happening. I know 2 years ago we had Canelo Cotto the week before Thanksgiving, but nothing ever week of Thanksgiving. I'm hyped for that. I'm happy for that.
You know what? If you want to look at the realm of sports, the only thing comparable that's big that I really know of is Alabama and Auburn. I mean, really, Thanksgiving weekend is kind of a soft, sports weekend, except for college football. So I'm assuming that, Kovalev, shout out to HBO, they're going to do their numbers. But this is the return of Kovalev, and they feel as though this is a soft side for, holiday weekend. Put Kovalev on there, get some viewers, which definitely not mad at. Anytime there's boxing, hardcore boxing, as we're going to watch it. And let's see what happens. Let's see, if Kovalev is back, I hope he gets cooked. But if he's back, let's get it.
All right. Now, I can't view Kovalev. Your disdain for Kovalev is just so deep. I will say this, Mike, if you didn't get a chance to listen to it earlier, I did have Kathy Duva on. Make sure you catch that replay on iTunes. She's very genuine about what's going on and said, he's in a bad situation. I don't know. She has faith and believes that Kovalev's going to come out, look like the old crusher that we're used to. And also, she's real high on Sullivan Barrera, man. Barrera's going to be – I told her, man, that they're lucky in main events. They have 2 of the top 10 guys at 175, which is crazy to think about. They have those guys in their umbrella and one could be a champion this weekend. One could be challenging for a title next year. I mean, it's a good time to be alive at 175.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. If you look at, the landscape, you look at the landscape about definitely 175. Cruiserweight, the tournaments going on. Heavyweight division is cooking. Then, 168 is up and coming. 154 is always deep. And hopefully, I know you're going to talk about this hopefully early next year. 120, how deep is 126? And 132, let's not sleep on 130 because obviously you have Lomachenko, but, Oscar motherfucking Salido, that's always my dude. I'm telling you that now. I just can't wait till he fights again. But it's 2017. Banner year for boxing outside of McGregor and Mayweather. Not this is banner year for it's trash. Great year for boxing. And even got a couple new heads popping up at 160. Okay, but it was a great year for boxing. And you know what? And you're gonna keep cooking with your show, giving us that fresh content, that fire content. Punch in the Face Radio, and I'm definitely going to call, and I'm definitely going to call week of Lomachenko and Rigondeaux because I've been waiting for this one for about almost a year now. I'm glad it's happening, and I'm glad it's free too. It doesn't matter because I was going to the bar drinking my Jack anyway.
And this is why we love you, Mike. Now, I will say this. At the beginning of that show that week, either I'm going to be super excited because Cotto's won his final fight, or I'm going to be on suicide watch because Cotto has lost his final fight. All I can do is tell you to tune in and listen in because that week could be very interesting for me as a Cotto fan. Best believe next week will be heavy Cotto-related on next week's show. I'm just going to say that and apologize in advance. It's just what I do.
And check this out. And I'm just you thinking about Cotto retiring. Listen to the boxers that have retired this year. Mayweather, Klitschko, Ward, Marquez, Bradley, Cotto.
And Shane Mosley. We can't even forget Shane Mosley. He's even a part of that list because he officially retired. It's insane.
Again,
it's really insane. It's deep.
But Mosley has retired again. But wow, man, that is. I mean, that. I think I know. You can only there's a cap on the number that can go into the Hall of Fame. I'm like, fuck it, class. Just put everybody in and give them everybody they do shine. I mean, that class is deep. Everyone retiring this year.
It's hard to pick three guys who could go in over any of the three guys because all have made tremendous contributions to the sport of boxing and all deserve their opportunity. And unfortunately, not everyone's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is a shame because all of them have done so much and have entertained us so much to where they should deserve that go. But people have weird rules. They're in my Hall of Fame. Hell, even Tim Bradley. And I was never really a big fan of him, but respect the hell out of what he did and kind of missed him already being going to 147.
Right. I'm going to tell you, the one, and I love Tim Bradley too, he should have fought Khan at 140. He should have. I mean, I don't know what happened. That was a fight I was looking forward to because when they were at the top of 140, they was on a collision course, if you remember, and I wish that fight would have happened. But I give Tim Bradley credit too. He fought almost outside of Khan everybody. And he even had that stinker with Alexander in Detroit. That fight was trash. But still, they were the top two guys. Fight. Oh gosh. I mean, I could name some trash fights all against top people, and that rivaled Rigondeaux and Beckel. That was trash too. But Tim Bradley, he fought everybody outside of Khan, and I feel as though he should have fought Khan. But man, I love Tim Bradley. I love Tim Bradley. Because he just kept coming, But I love Tim Bradley as a boxer more than a brawler, and that's definitely my dude.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, man, I appreciate you calling in as you always do. Appreciate you bringing the energy. I want you to be safe and have a blessed and a happy Thanksgiving. Tomorrow, a whole holiday season. Now, I know I'm going to talk to you between now and whenever, but definitely tomorrow, put your feet up if you can. Eat good. Eat a plate for me because I'm going to eat two for you. So definitely enjoy, man, and be around the family and just love everybody that's around you because we just never know when time is up. So love them, man. Love them while they're around.
You listen, knowing that firsthand, bro. And like I said, you know what I'm going through. Like, this is going to be my first Thanksgiving without my dad. So I'm definitely going to have some true heartfelt, mixed emotions. And I know Ms. Donna is listening. Ms. Donna, happy Thanksgiving to you. I know you listening out there, baby. I know you are. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And Brother Brandon, happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to eat two for you, too, because I will be double-fisted Jack. I will be having 2 forks, eating all the Thanksgiving and all that.
Absolutely. We'll definitely hear from you. If I don't hear from you next week for Kodo Week, I better hear from you from Lomachenko Rigondeaux Week. Until then, my brothers, like I said, man, stay safe, stay blessed. We love you, Money Mike, the one and only Money Mike here on Punch to the Face Radio.
I love you too, man. Punch to the Face Radio, man. Y'all better listen, man. This is my boy, man. He putting out that content. Punch to the Face Radio. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. God bless you too, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, my brother. Thanks. All right, the one and only incomparable Mike Money. Passionate fan, passionate boxing fan. Like you said, man, we've had a banner year. 2017 has been great. 2018 is going to be better, I believe. We've got the bullshit out of the way with Mayweather McGregor. Let's pray to God Oscar De La Hoya does not decide he wants to come back and box. Lord have mercy. We went on that rant last week, so we're not going to go back on that rant this week. I will say this in regards to Oscar De La Hoya. He is doing a good job of keeping his name out there. There's a video from Fight Hub TV. So on Twitter, Fight Hub TV is what you want to follow, where they talked to him. I think he was at somewhere in California doing a turkey giveaway or something, and they asked him about, had he heard how much Earl Spence was getting to fight his next fight. He's like, no. He's like, yeah, he's getting 3.5. And Oscar was like, what? He's getting what? like 3.5. He's like, against who? For what? Against Lamont Peterson. He's like, well, God bless him. So, I mean, you know, Oscar couldn't even remember the guys' names when they were being interviewed. He couldn't remember Earl Spence's name. He almost looked like he had no clue who Lamont Peterson was, who, oddly enough, Golden Boy promoted at one time. Go figure. But Oscar's staying out there. He's staying in the public eye. He did say the negotiations are starting to go better now for Canelo Triple G Part 2. Cinco de Mayo weekend is what we're aiming for. I really wish it would be that far away, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. It is what it is. So, shout out to Oscar. Shout out to Golden Boy. We'll see. We'll see what happens with them and everything. But, yeah, man, to kind of recap everything, I want to give a big thank you to Kathy Duva, CEO of Main Events. Like I said, man, Saturday night on HBO, Sharbranskyy, Kovalev, vacant title. We have Sosa, Gamboa. We have Barrera, Valera, also in the card for the light heavyweight division. You have Franklin Larson making his promotional debut. For those who will be able to see the fight live in New York, he'll be making his promotional debut for Main Events. So, again, if you're in New York, in that area, you're going to be going through that area, or you just want to get away from your family for Thanksgiving weekend, Ticketmaster.com, they got tickets for you there. You're in New York, just go to Madison Square Box Office. They'll hook you up there as well. So big thank you to Kathy Duva of Main Events. Also big thank you to Adam Abramowitz with the rare call-in. Threw me for a loop. Adam with the call-in. Again, SaturdayNightBoxing.com is where you can find Adam's work. Follow him on Twitter, SMBoxing. We already know he's going to be cutting up on Saturday night as the fights go on. And as well, big shout-out to Mike Money, who just called in. So Mike Money 214 on Twitter. Mike's a passionate boxing fan. He's a big supporter of the show. Love him, love his energy, love his enthusiasm for the sport of boxing, and his love of the show, because not everybody has to love the show. He does, and I appreciate Mike for it. With that being stated, man, you know, as I said to Mike, and this goes to all the listeners listening in, especially listening to the show live, if you listen to the replay here this weekend, I want everyone to love one another here this Thanksgiving, because you just never know when's the last time you're going to be around somebody, last time you can see somebody. Excuse me. You know, you should do that every day, but especially holidays, and be appreciative of what you have around you, because you just don't know. The world we live in today, you know, life is too precious, and unfortunately it gets snatched away from people for various different reasons and circumstances. But the loved ones you have around you, make sure they know they're loved, and take the opportunity to tell them that whenever you can, because you just never know when the last time you'll be able to tell them that. Not to bring the energy down there, but just make sure you tell them you love them. With that being stated, I love y'all, my listeners. I want y'all to stay safe, stay blessed, eat up plenty this Thanksgiving weekend. Enjoy football on Thursday. Enjoy football and basketball on Friday. And on Saturday night, enjoy championship boxing live on HBO, where we see if Sergey Kovalev can shake the mental ghost that is Andre Ward. If Sosa can make Gamboa look bad again. And, you know, just enjoy boxing, you know, Saturday night as we wind down our holiday weekend. So I want everyone to do that and enjoy your Black Friday shopping. Walmart's got some good stuff. With that being stated, man, I'll be back next week. Steve Forbes is our guest here next week to talk about his delving into the promotional game of boxing. I'll get his idea on why in the world he wants to get into the promotional game of boxing. So we'll get his thoughts on that, what he's promoting up there, up in the Northwest, and as well as just get his thoughts in boxing in general, since when he was an active fighter to what's going on now in the sport. So Steve Forbes next week. Adam Abramowitz back 2 weeks from now. Hopefully Shakur Stevenson as well. We're trying to get that tied down, so cross your fingers, listeners. Till then, this is Brandon Stubbs, and this has been another episode of Punch to the Face Radio.